I've got some time to waste, so let's take a look back at the Bouncer and see if you should add to your collection. For a little background, the Bouncer was released during the early 2000s by Squaresoft, a bit before they merged and became Square Enix. Now, it took me a little bit to get into the fighting system for this game, but when I did, I had a lot of fun smashing through enemies. As any of the three protagonists, it was just so cathartic that I would almost say it's a good silver bubble wrap. And each of the three characters have their own unique fighting styles and unique stories that tie into the overall main story. I wouldn't say that the fighting system for this game is masterful, it's mostly block and counter. But it's still a fun system, and as I said before, it's very cathartic and really reminds me why beat 'em up games are so fun. Unfortunately though, with this game's story mode, I'm not sure how to say this. The story isn't exactly the work of a master, and I suspect back in the day it's one of the things that dragged the scores down. But nowadays the story is actually kind of funny. Like, during my playthrough, which I did 5 of so I could get all the characters for verses, I found myself laughing at the absurdities and thinking, yeah, that's really the 90s and 2000s tropes. We really had weird shit back then. So, what I think probably hurt the game back then actually kind of had some charm, and almost seems like a bit of a parody. Although, be it unintentionally. So yeah, if you're looking for a serious story, skip this game. But if you're looking to laugh, if you're one of those people who played Metal Gear and you think it's silly, all the nanomachines, and you think it's funny, you're probably gonna like this story just for the absurdity. If you're one of the people that pisses off, you're probably not gonna like the story. So now that I've briefly talked about the story, there's a bit of an elephant in the room that I kind of have to address. The English voice acting isn't always the best, and I'm just gonna roll some footage for you to see what I mean.
Look, I'm in a hurry.
You recognize that Black Panther?
No.
Let's get going. We're gonna miss the train.
Yeah.
You will never get the girl back! Don't make me angry! You wouldn't like me when I'm angry! I don't care if I destroy my mind!
Now that was just a small sample. I, out of boredom, and because I was talking with a friend, actually made a supercut from one run of just weird moments in voice acting or lines that were delivered weirdly. So there's a lot of that, but I honestly don't think it's the voice actor's fault. I think that this game was either translated poorly, or the writing is just so hilariously bad that the voice actors did not know how to use the lines. It's almost like the whole situation in Star Wars, the prequels, where the actors aren't necessarily bad, the lines are just so awful, or in this case possibly poorly translated, that they sound really bad. And to defend the voice actors, these are industry veterans. Like, some of the voice actors in this game worked on projects like Fallout 4, Steven Universe, Hack GU, and Cowboy Bebop. Yeah, Ko, one of the three main characters, is voiced by Spike Spiegel himself, David Blum. So it's definitely not their fault, as if even he can have some bad lines, and have some deliveries that aren't the best, you know something was wrong with the script or the direction. You can actually beat the Bouncer in about an hour, not including the cutscenes, which there are a lot of. However, thank you Squaresoft for making skippable cutscenes, because even to this freaking day, some game developers do not do that, even though you've already seen the cutscene 5 times because you failed a boss fight or something. Other games will just be like, no, you gotta sit through this again. However, to unlock all the characters in this game, and to see all the characters' individual stories, you're going to need to be able to beat this game at least 3 times, and the final boss does get harder until you've gotten to the 3rd playthrough, which it plateaus for the hardest difficulty.
Whoa, hang on. I've got connections. Let me look into it first.
So I'm going to wrap it up here. I know I'm skipping some stuff, but I don't want to go too much into detail, and I don't want to ruin story. Not because plot spoilers will ruin the thing, but it does subvert the comedy if you know what's going to happen. And a big draw to this game, I think, is how ridiculously funny the story gets. So, should you add to your collection? Well, this game is flawed, and if you're not really into that so bad it's good kind of story, and you're not really a fan of fighting games or beat 'em ups, you might want to skip this. But if you like any of those things, for less than $10 Canadian, I'd say it's definitely worth a look, and you should probably think about adding it to your collection just for a laugh.
Let's go then. We don't have much time.
Looks like he's got a heart after all, especially when it comes to her.
No kidding.